Welcome, everyone. This is the place where we talk about food in and around Victoria, BC. And my name's Dallas, and I'm at nowhere right now, which when anybody asks me where they should go tonight for dinner, I say you should go to nowhere. And people, they think I'm joking. But I have the owners of Nowhere and Hanks here with me, Clark and Devon. How you guys doing?
Well, good. Happy to be here.
Sufficient, yeah.
Dude, do you ever get that? Do you ever say to people about nowhere and they're like, where is it? What are you talking about? Are you pulling my leg?
Well, yeah, I mean, all the time, but that was why we named it that, though. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no street frontage. Really a horrible location if you think about it. And yeah, we even put a dot actually in the middle of the room. There is a dot that shows the middle of nowhere.
Is it really?
Yeah, look, just over there. Right
On
in the
the
very
floor?
middle. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see something there.
Yeah.
That's
it's
hilarious.
just a big circle we indented into the floor, and it's the middle of nowhere.
See, I like the fact that when you look at Hanks, and I wanted to ask you about this farm, 365 star a farm.
Right.
What? Okay, let's start at the farm. What is the farm?
Well, that's something that's just starting. So that's more Jonah and Laura than Devon and I, for sure. So basically, they've been doing a ton of experimentation on vertically growing and organically growing all sorts of, literally everything is what they're trying right now. I mean, everybody with vertical does greens, and that's the big thing is greens, microgreens. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're trying to do some other stuff with that as well. So right now, it is set up in Hanks. They've got literally tomatoes, peas, you name it, everything. So fruiting things, which is not very common in that, and they're seeing where they can go with it.
Okay. And that again, so Laura and
Jonah. So Jonah's my wife. Laura's
Okay.
the chef at Nowhere here as well.
yeah. And I got to say, when I was in here the first time and I ate at the bar here, when Laura was making the food, I couldn't believe how she could have a conversation while she's making this insane stuff. It blew my mind what she was doing while she's just talking to me and interacting like it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of our whole concept, or was before we, closed everything off. But at both Hanks and here, that's always kind of been the whole thing. So it does take a special person to do what we try to do.
And how would you describe Hanks and Nowhere to someone that's never been to them before?
Devon,
I'll
I'll say something bad. You should do
that-
better.
Okay, here, can
That's
I-
a good question. I mean,
Can I say something that someone said to me?
Yeah, of course.
So someone that used to work, I guess, at Hanks, he said that it's like working in a bar fight every night.
Yeah.
It's not dangerous, but you don't know what's going to happen. It's no holds barred. The unexpected is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
certainly.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, you name it, it's probably happened there. I mean, we've had people come in off the street out of their minds and walk right behind the line when you're cooking. We've had somebody come in and strip. You name it, man, it's happened.
Okay, what happened with the strip story?
Well, to be honest with you, that was back a few years ago, and we didn't really know. So it was a newer employee, and I was at one end, he was at the other end, and he didn't realize she didn't work there. So he let her come back, and then she got back, and then it started happening. I mean, obviously we stopped it, and she went on her way, had a nice night.
Okay.
Whatever, hopefully.
And that was in the back area?
Yeah, that was where we're cooking. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah, right between us where we're cooking. Yeah. So you name it, it's probably happened in Hanks. So how did you describe Hanks? Hanks is literally the definition of a hole in the wall. I mean, maybe what we do isn't necessarily hole in the wall or hopefully maybe it is too. Depends what day it is, I guess. But it is the definition of that. I mean, when we opened it up, it was going to be just a sandwich shop, which now ironically it is again.
Yeah, funny how
with
things
COVID,
go
full
round
circle,
in circle.
but yeah, it's been through the gamut. So yeah, it is not a space that should be doing what it does. So yeah, bar fight, probably.
well, if you look at the kitchen space over there, the fact that you can make any of that food on that it's not really a proper kitchen, right? I mean, I'm not a chef, but everybody that I talked to that's gone in there looked at what you guys are making food with. They're like, this makes no sense. How are they doing what they're doing with what they have there?
Well, we tried to maximize what little space there was to begin with, and wanted to be open for dinner, making dinners, and that was all the space could allow.
Yeah, I mean, heat and knives, right? That's all it is heat and knives. And there's heat and there's knives, so that's fine. But yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, it's a small spot. It doesn't have that many customers at any one point in time either, so it lets you be creative and do a lot of really cool stuff.
Okay.
But it's not as crazy as I think everybody thinks it is. It's, I mean, there's nicer kitchens, of course. but it does the job fine.
Well, it just seems like it's so limited that you're cranking out this insane stuff that to me it doesn't make sense. And I'm not a chef, but what you guys do, I know there's so much that I don't know with cooking, and I just like you guys are in some other stratosphere that I'm like an ant and you're like a human or something. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, you're just you're just heating things up,
help
making them taste.
I don't want to kiss your ass too much here.
Yeah.
I'm a fanboy of you guys.
Well, we appreciate it, but yeah, no, it's fun, man. It's what we like to do, and that space is fun for us too. I mean, it is constantly challenging for sure.
Yeah.
You're always limited on space. It's always a fight, but
do you have much space that like you can't see, like storage somewhere or something?
Oh, there's no space you can't see.
There's nothing that's
everything is out in the open pretty much. Yeah.
Really?
We're not trying to hide.
No, you've seen the whole restaurant. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it even crazier for me. I figured you'd have something somewhere like an area or something of storage.
No.
Unfortunately.
Oh wow.
No.
Unfortunately, that's all there is.
That's insane.
Less square footage, I mean, you pay per square foot nowadays. So,
so if we go back and sort of look at or did you have something?
Well, I was going to add that sort of out of what Hanks was trying to create in a food dinner experience, Nowhere was trying to go a little bit further, take what we'd learned in that space and maybe try to apply it into a dining room to see what that might look like. And if people wanted to not come in for a burger and a pint, but to sort of sit down with the larger meal experience in a coursed out fashion that's just fun to dine. We wanted to experiment with that, and so that's sort of where Nowhere is sitting these days.
Yeah, I see. Like for me, Nowhere is more more in the line of like a traditional restaurant, whereas Hanks is kind of it's like crazy town. Who knows? Here's some crazy stuff that we made, and here you go, right?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, well, Nowhere is a lot of tasting menus, right? So, I mean, it's more choreographed, and the courses have to make sense together and everything else. Hanks will just kind of take whatever's going on and whatever's cool and whatever we can find, and we'll just throw it at people. And it might make sense to them, and it might not make sense to them, and that's totally fine. So even when we're doing tasting menus over there, we're not trying to necessarily pair courses up to make sense.
Yeah.
We're just trying to give you awesome stuff to eat, and just course after course of awesome stuff to eat, basically. Not focusing on portion sizing, not focusing on, if this bite's going to overwhelm that bite. I don't care. There, we're just giving you cool stuff. At Nowhere, we do take those things into consideration a little more and try to make more of a dining experience. Whether we succeed or not, who knows? But that's the goal,
Right.
And the difference between the two, I suppose.
So one thing that you guys did at some point with Hanks, and I forget how long you did this for, but you could go in and order the whole menu.
Yeah, that was a horrible idea.
Yeah, so
so people did do that.
I was talking to a guy, and I think he said it was like the first night you did this.
Yeah,
and he went in, and him and his buddy ordered the whole menu.
Right,
and somebody said to the other, like you and Andrew, I'm not sure,
right,
and I wasn't there, so I don't know if this was said, but they're like they just ordered the menu, and then the other person was like, "Fuck." Because you didn't think
so
it
that would
actually...
have been me probably, because I would have been cooking it back then when we first started it, and that would have been the response for sure. Because the thing is, we didn't really portion down anything, so when we said the whole menu, that meant you were getting the entire menu. So that's a 4-hour dining experience, probably at least.
And I think the value,
if you survive,
the value was like insane too, wasn't it? Like $150 or something.
Yeah, I can't even remember, but it wasn't there to maximize profit. We'll put it that way. It was there to have fun, and so people could come in and have fun. And it did do that, but we turned that into the feast series eventually because it was actually just plain ridiculous. Because our average menus were anywhere from 16 to 25 items, and we didn't change how many things you got when it was the whole menu. It was the whole menu. When we said this whole menu was the whole goddamn menu. So
16 items.
Sometimes it was 25. It just depended what night it was, right?
Oh my God.
So you would be
talking about?
Well, that's what I mean, and not scaled down, right? So, it was nuts. It was nuts, and a lot of people did it, and a lot of people survived. So that was cool. But yeah, we changed that into our feast series, where that was more something where we picked whatever cool ingredient or whatever we were getting in at the time and focused on that. So it might be if we got a whole Wagyu cow and we would do a Wagyu feast. If it was seafood, whatever. And then that was 6-7 courses, but large feast courses meant to be, overwhelming essentially.
And that was more recently, like the feast series, right? That was
that was about a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago. And we might bring that back now. That'd be the only way we could open Hanks up. So we've tossed that idea around. We're not there yet, but.
Because those things, like those sold out very quickly.
Oh,
when you were doing them.
Yeah. No, we've been fortunate on stuff like that. Everyone's supported us always when we do weird and dumb shit. So we thank you, everyone.
So if we look at the history sort of Hanks, did Hanks start in Tofino?
Well, okay, so kind of. Ucluelet.
Okay, Ucluelet. Yeah.
Ucluelet. But yeah, so we opened up Hanks there. Me and Frank, so totally different guy. Me and Frank opened up there. Then we opened up here 8 months later. The two of us came down and opened up here 8 months later, and we ran them both for 4 years, like that in conjunction, at which point me and Frank split them off. Okay.
And so Hanks, is there still one in?
It's actually called Frank's now. So the misspoke is perfect. Yeah. So it's Frank's and it's still there. It's different than what we were doing at the time, but it's super cool. It's still there. Same spot.
Whenever I mention Hanks, people are like, "Oh, the barbecue place."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yes, that was dumb. That was a huge mistake. So we were never a barbecue place, but when we came to Victoria, and we weren't called barbecue in Ucluelet, but when we came to Victoria, everyone's like, you can't just put up a sign and say you're a restaurant. You have to say a type of restaurant. We were like, okay, well, I guess we can do that if that's what everybody wants, because we already had what we thought was a super cool restaurant in Ucluelet. So we were planning on spending most of our time there and literally just running kind of a sandwich shop here. We'd done barbecue competitions for years. So we're like, all right, well, if we got to put something on it, let's put barbecue. And then we're like, well, we're not going to do barbecue really. So then we threw untraditional in front of the name. And so now, that was a shit show, because then everybody who likes barbecue wanted to come in, and, we didn't really have that type of barbecue. And we ticked a good number of people off for that,
So how long was it sort of in that mode?
4 years.
Oh, so for 4 years here, it was sort of in that vein.
Totally. And we renovated, so it didn't quite look like it looks now. As bad as it looks now, it looked even worse before that. So believe it or not.
And what's your history with food, with you two?
Go ahead, Devon.
I don't have a history with food other than eating it.
Okay, so you're like me.
Yeah,
that's a history. You've eaten for years.
I've eaten for years. It keeps me going. I like to go out and eat. So then I found myself in a unique position of being able to create unique dining experiences for people, and I thought that would be fun.
Yeah, he understands that, but he's a very observant guy. So I mean, he goes out to eat for a living. It's a good life he has, but he does it well.
Well, then where's your Instagram account? Like,
we're not great at the social media thing.
Yeah. Well, I would not say that.
Well, we force ourselves to do it for the restaurant, but we're still not good at it.
One of my favorite things on Instagram used to be at the top of Hanks, at the profile, the little motto or whatever you can put at the top. And there always used to be something like crazy up there.
Yeah.
And I used to check, like, my favorite one, I think, was when it said money before people. And when I saw that, I started laughing so hard.
Well, that's actually from a TV show. That's from Better Off Ted. That's a great TV show. You should watch that show.
Okay.
It got canceled after 2 years, but it shouldn't have. It's wonderful.
But like when I read that and saw it, like, it made me so happy. I was like, that's so crazy. I loved it. So I used to actually check the account just to see that.
No, that's awesome. At least something worked.
Yeah.
So I mean, that stands out in my mind. Cool. Because you're not doing that now, right? Or do you still?
I don't even know. I'd have to look. I don't know what it says.
Okay.
Yeah. This is awful. But once we kind of got busy enough, we kind of stopped updating as we should have. So we'll try to get back at it and pay more attention to it. But yeah.
And then like
it's not our strength nowadays.
But you'd have like the photo of someone like drinking a beer, and you're just like, so and so is enjoying his night or whatever. Like these random shots, I love it.
Well, there was a time, so our strategy for Hanks was just to inundate people with photos, if they were good or not. So we decided we were going to put up 10 things every single day, regardless of quality.
I love it.
And we don't do that now, but it was fun for a while. We did that for quite a while, though. If you look, I think we have like 8 million posts or something like that. I think 5,000 anyways. So more posts than followers for sure.
Quite the history there, yeah.
Yeah.
And so your history with food, how do you go back with being a chef and all that?
Well, I mean, not much different than Devon, to be honest. We don't have the history that everybody else has in this industry. I mean, I just opened a restaurant one day. And basically in a coffee shop at nighttime. I took over their coffee shop at nighttime. And it went well. We had good reception to it. But it was like 10 seats or something. And within 6 months of that, we opened up Hank's in Ucluelet, and now we're here. But yeah, we didn't work in restaurants, any of us.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems so insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, with sourcing ingredients.
Didn't know that, eh?
No, that makes no sense because like the sourcing that you guys are doing,
right?
How does that whole thing work? Because that must be like a full-time job in itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a little bit. It's ongoing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we came at it from a different angle, right? I mean, we came into this industry at a different angle than a lot of folks come at the industry from. I mean, we came in it because we're passionate about food, and it's what we wanted to do. We had good careers before, and we gave them up because we really wanted to do this. So that's why things like the sourcing and stuff. So is it a full-time job? We have no idea. We don't know how long it takes. It's just what we like to do. I mean, we like to talk to people who make food, who provide food, who grow food. And we want to get the best stuff we can get our hands on, both to give people, but honestly, just so we can eat it. And we do. Like, we take everything home and we have a great time with it.
I was going to ask, so, what do you guys eat on your spare time?
But like crazy shit, man. I mean, like, just whatever we have is what we eat. I mean, so, that's why we did this. It's why we do it. But our background's not in food. I mean, I was working and then started doing barbecue competitions for, I don't even know, 2 years maybe. 2-3 years, I don't know. Yeah, 2 or 3 years, started doing barbecue competitions. So went to one, lost, got my ass kicked, got really upset about it because I don't know why, just competitive, I guess. Shouldn't have won. There's no reason I should have thought I would. But anyways, then I wanted to. So then we just went every weekend. Like, so I'd finish my job, get in the truck, drive like with all the equipment and go wherever the hell the barbecue competition was.
And where was this?
We were living in Ucluelet, so I was driving like across down to the States and whatever else just to do these things. Yeah, just whatever we had to do, right? Until we could start to win. So then we won a couple and then we quit.
You're like the game's over. I've now won the game.
Well, it's not necessarily winning the game. These people that are a lot more successful than us, but we just wanted to know that we could for ourselves, basically.
Yeah.
Or I did, I guess. There was no we at that point. You would have stopped that nonsense.
I don't know. I like a good road trip.
It's true. There was a lot of them, though. It's like, oh, we're going to drive to San Francisco in a few hours. Yeah, okay.
Where's the farthest you went for a competition?
Texas. Yeah, I think probably. Yeah, we went everywhere, man. Yeah.
And did you road trip down to Texas?
Yeah, well, everything was a road trip because I was still working. So it was just like you just get in the truck and go, and then like unload and you cook all night because you don't go to bed really. So you just sit there and cook all night, and then you present everything in the morning, then pack it all up and drive home.
That's crazy.
You don't even eat it because like you feel like you're gonna die, right? So like it's just like all right. But
what is a barbecue competition like down in the U.S.? I can imagine it must be like a whole. It's almost like a religion, right?
They're the same as here, man. There's really passionate people here that do them too. I mean, they're probably not going to have much this year, but like the Canadian Championships in Whistler, there's always over 100 teams there.
Okay.
You should definitely go. It's actually super cool. Although go to the ones in Canada, you can't sample at all of them, so make sure it's one you can sample at because then you can really. Taste some really cool stuff. But no, it's crazy passionate people, man. And it's all the same people everywhere. Whether, Pacific Northwest barbecue is a thing. So barbecue association. So that's a big one. So everybody's the same there. But then when you get into the further states, you get into the Kansas City Barbecue Association and stuff. I'm out of date though. I haven't done this stuff in 8 years. So I mean, these terms could have changed, but that's what was happening back then. And I'm sure it's pretty similar, but super passionate people who just love what they do and they cook the same things every day, so they're very good at it. So that was never something I was great at. So yeah.
And so that's sort of where the untraditional barbecue came from.
Right. Because we didn't really want to make the same stuff like that all the time. So we didn't really do barbecue in that sense, but we did for the competitions. We would go because, that's what we were doing. But when we came home, we experimented with different stuff. So,
because right now at Hank's, you do have some barbecue on the menu, don't you?
We did last week. I don't think we're going to this week as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Hank's right now is just, it's takeout only because of the COVID stuff. So yeah, we're all over the place trying to figure out what everybody wants and doesn't want and that kind of thing. So we just keep changing it up. It seems the more we change, the more people want it. So that's what we'll do, I guess.
You can literally eat there every day and get like a couple things and you're just never going to repeat yourself.
Yeah, although I wouldn't mind if people did.
Of course.
Just kidding. But
no, everybody should be going there every day.
Yeah.
Because you guys like Jason from the Hive was in and he got a burger or something. Then you gave him this cheese whiz or whatever you called it.
Yeah, it's Cheese Whiz, man. It's, you know
This
what
is not
Cheese Whiz is.
Yeah, this is not Cheese Whiz. He gave me a bit of it, and like I would assume there's a whole bunch of different cheeses in that thing.
No, there's one.
There's only one?
Yeah, there's one. We got to keep it true to like the Cheese Whiz formula.
Wow.
You can't mess with that.
Because it
Don't
felt,
deviate from the formula.
I wish I knew what that was now.
but it felt like it was going to be like this huge thing, like where it ramped up really quickly, but it didn't go to some insane level. I feel like you could take that stuff and add it to anything.
Yeah, that's the idea with it for sure. Yeah. I mean, we use it even in the restaurants, in both restaurants, we use it a ton. The reason we make it isn't as a cheese spread, but I mean, it works, of course, as a cheese spread. And that's what, I mean, if you take it home, that's what's going to make sense. But in the restaurants, it turns any cheese meltable, basically. So, into a liquid form. So even your most potent cheeses, essentially. So we use it to finish tons and tons of stuff. And
Can people buy that?
Point. Yeah, right now. Yeah.
So
we do have it up there right now, don't we?
I think so.
I think so.
The grocery section of Hanks there. Yeah.
What else is in the grocery section?
Devon?
Well, it changes. You'd have to go and take a look. But there
examples.
Like the pastrami, bacon, some preserved things that we've been playing around with.
Yeah,
but it's all stuff
now that I'm thinking. Okay, so all the cured meats. So we got pancetta, guanciale, duck prosciutto from those Magret breasts, right? Yeah. Right. So we got the Magret breasts. We have a couple prosciuttos going. They're not ready yet. So we just started curing during COVID. So we brought in a fridge that's like slammed into the back door of Hank's, basically. So you haven't seen that yet. But if you walked in now, there's even less space because we have a dry aging fridge there and a curing fridge there. So that's a lot of what we're selling. And then, I think there's a couple jams. Like when we like to bring tons of stuff from the farms right now. So anything that we don't use during the week, we automatically preserve. Then that goes up there.
How many different farms do you guys work with?
Just vegetables or?
You name it. It's anything. What's your number? Like,
I don't know.
I like that answer, that initial one. Like, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah, I have no idea. Lots.
Lots. So
I couldn't even guess, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, we're starting to compile a list because people are interested, and I'd be curious to see it all printed out. But there's a lot of people we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, vegetable wise, right now, Fierce Love and Square Root at this part of the season are my go-tos for sure. Meat though, Hillcrest Farms, we've got a really cool thing going with them up in Comox. So basically, we've experimented with different feeding patterns and stuff, and it's all free range animals, which is super cool. Super small farm. He's got like a couple acres up there. And all the animals just get to run around. It's super fun. So we have him doing tons of stuff for us. So, I mean, those are going to be our three big ones right now, but the actual number is going to be probably 70.
Oh, wow.
Would be a guess.
For me, I just don't understand still, going back to like the sourcing in general. There's those, I think, pigs from Montreal that are fed like Swiss milk.
Yeah.
Or that's all they get or something. And how do you find that?
Okay, so that was actually Two Rivers is a wonderful supplier of ours. We don't get to use them as much anymore because we do a lot more hyper-local, I guess. But they had brought them in as an experiment for, I want to say, like the Chateau Whistler or something like that. And we piggyback off that to try it. And when we started looking into it, I mean, yeah, they're a super cool farm. And they actually meet all the ethical boundaries and everything else we're looking for. And yeah, I mean, it's a crazy product that you're never going to see.
And so what does that do to the protein when you have it versus just like it's sort of a normal pig?
Yeah, so I mean, normally what we're looking for is fat marbling and things like that, but not in this situation. It's actually the totally opposite. So these are crazy lean pigs, but they're just super rich, super rich and delicate and, crazy flavorful. The skin is very thin, so you can get it really, really crispy without having that fatty chew underneath that, sometimes you get if you're going to eat like any rind or any kind of product like that. It doesn't have any of that. So yeah, it's just super cool. We're starting curing some this week actually, because we haven't cured any as of yet. So that'll be an interesting thing.
Is that all the pork that you guys get in like nowhere here? Is that all from those pigs?
No. Because Hillcrest, we got tons of stuff growing for ourselves up there.
Okay.
So we basically sit down with our farmers on a year-to-year basis and plan out the entire year. So when I say that, I mean literally week to week. So we know what's coming in. So we basically only do whole animals at both restaurants. Literally, that's planned out an entire year in advance. We know what's going to come in what week, and then we supplement that accordingly with things like the gas bore stuff and things like that from Quebec. But 99% of what we actually use is going to be from Vancouver Island.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so you're like right now, you're already planning for like next year.
Yeah. Well, no, because of
Well, I guess-
COVID. Yeah, I mean, fuck, I
Things
don't know.
have
I mean,
changed.
I don't even know what's going to happen next week. But
Sure.
yeah, we're just trying to live up to our commitments for this year now because obviously our volumes are different. But
Yeah.
you know,
And so as far as like ethics go, when you're looking at places, so do you have a whole criteria that you sort of, the place has to meet that before you're going to do work with them?
yeah, always, yeah. I think most people do though. Yeah,
I would like to think so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Well, you'd hope so, right?
Within everything, with everything, with
Of
every
course.
part of your business, yeah.
And when you get these, like those pigs, for example, can you taste all the nuanced differences? Like, is there to do with the taste?
No. I mean, with the feed and stuff, like whether it's fed apples or acorns or whatever else, no. But you can taste the quality difference depending on the quality of what they're being fed. So, I mean, people are gonna say, "Yeah, you eat the pork and it tastes like apples." I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know. I can't. Can you?
I can't be that particular
Specific.
with it either.
I know people are going to say they can. They'll watch this and say they can, and everything else. I kind of call bullshit. I would like them to try, but you never know. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but you can taste a quality difference. So when they're being fed things like apples and foraged fruits and grass in the case of cows and stuff like that, I mean the flavor is completely different than what you're used to. But whether or not you can pick what they're actually eating out, I don't know.
And you guys work with foragers as well.
Yeah.
And so how many different foragers do you guys work with?
Dozen? No, maybe not. Six. Let's say six.
Sure, half a dozen.
Yeah, six to nine. I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
for anybody watching, there's actually somebody that just started something outside here. So there might be some audio interesting things going on for the rest of this.
Oh, I wonder
guess.
if he's decided to pressure wash today. That'd be interesting.
We're trying not to bomb this interview. We got noise coming, so no one can hear us. That's all.
All right.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to
it.
go better this way.
Right.
No one can make fun of us.
Distraction.
If they can't hear us,
Camouflage.
they can't make fun of us. Yeah.
So if we look at sort of with COVID happening and the changes that you guys have had to make, like you said, Hank's now it's takeout only,
Yeah.
and you can go online and you can look at the menu and sort of order ahead.
Mhm.
Or I love what you guys have done in Nowhere here with sort of these full, almost floor to ceiling walls that you've really, because there's only, is there 5, 6 booths here?
5. Yeah.
5, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the fact that now you've done this, you've gone over and above, in my opinion, because it's set up so nice.
Well, I mean, so when everything happened, I mean, we started planning right away. I mean, we closed down before they made us because it's some serious shit, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like things
Of
are
course.
not good right now. So we got to take it pretty seriously, but we wanted to also, what Devon brought to the table, I mean, you should talk about this, not me, but you wanted to provide a dining experience that wasn't just sterile afterwards. So we shut down immediately, about a week early, and Dev started working on what, you talk about this.
I was just waiting for you to see where you were
Yeah,
going with
yeah,
this, where
yeah.
you were pushing me. But a part of dining out is the ambient noise in the room, the sort of like the whole pace of the whole room. And if we increased these booths, sort of walled them off in a sense, how, for better or worse, would that affect your dining experience? I mean, we've had a very open room, like from quite an open room kitchen to Hank's to an open dining room area over at Nowhere. Would these physical boundaries, if you will, translate into still that nice dining experience? And it was a bit startling when we first came in and looked at them after the contractor had been in. But sitting in them,
I really liked
worked.
it.
It worked.
It felt like I was almost, because I sat in the middle booth here for the meal that I came in for recently, and it felt to me like I was in my own private restaurant.
Yeah, that is what happened.
It went sort of further than I anticipated, but people really enjoyed having these sort of private kind of dining experiences.
I really love it. Yeah.
There's still sort of ambient restaurant noise happening, so you're out, you're out, but you've got a space to yourself. It's
and
been really positive.
it's safe. I mean, it's fully cordoned off from anybody else. When you're in your
Right.
spot, it's fully
Which
cordoned off.
that I really
So-
appreciated, because right now, like, I'm not really cool with being inside a restaurant. I just don't really want to eat inside right now.
No, and cases crept up again this weekend. I mean, we were just talking about that before. I mean, so.
But eating
everyone's gotta
here?
be careful.
I felt safe eating here when I came in.
Good.
And this is I've only been in a couple spots, but this is the only one I've come where I wasn't invited to something.
Yeah.
Because I saw what you did online, you guys, and with there used to be a bar here.
That's right.
But now there's actually like a wall with windows that sort of keep the kitchen separate as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're really pretty strict about that 6 feet guideline. Nobody should be within 6 feet of anybody else. So, I mean, yeah, we do with the renovation, we kept that in mind. And, it's all stuff we can change around again when this is all over. But if it lasts a couple of years, hopefully we can provide good dining experiences in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing we can't do, so nobody complain about it, please, is make the seats more comfortable, because we had to take the cushions off because you can't clean them in between.
Clean those in between.
Yeah, so
seating,
please, everyone, stop telling us that it's uncomfortable. We know that. See, there's nothing we can do.
That's you've heard this.
Yes, but there's nothing we can do. So.
I didn't even notice it when I was in here. I was so happy with the food that my ass probably
different people.
Maybe it hurt when I walked out. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I didn't care.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that we can't fix, and it annoys us that we can't fix it. But yeah.
So when you guys at Nowhere Here were named the number 5 best restaurant or best new restaurant in Canada last year, how did that all come about? Did you guys have any idea that you were in this was a possibility?
Well, we paid for it, didn't we?
Yeah, we invested heavily.
In Air Canada stock. No, we had no fucking idea. In fact, I mean, they called here one night, right? And you answered the phone.
I did. I mean, obviously, we're aware of En Route magazine and what they do, but didn't really anticipate being involved in that at all. And then they called to say that we'd made the short list of 35. And that felt amazing.
No, that's not what happened. It didn't feel amazing. You came over and told me when I was cooking that night, and you're like, I think this happened. And then we both thought it was a prank. We're like, fuck off. Like, what are you talking about? Really? I'm like, and both of us were going back and forth. What if it was even real? We're like, nah, this is bullshit. And then we forgot about it.
And then they called back, and it all became rather real. And then we got the...
I still didn't believe it, though. Not until we got the airport codes. They sent us codes that you put in on the website for free flights, and I was like, well, fuck it. Even if it's fake, at least we're going somewhere. We got a vacation.
Yeah, because you guys got to go to you made food at the ceremony or whatever, right? Or at the reception?
So the short list of 35, and then we did make the top 10. And if you're in the top 10, they want you to go to their event and present a thing at their event. A food, not just a thing. You go and cook for their event.
Anything. Interim.
And it was amazing and exciting and disturbing.
You get to make all the fancy people happy.
They wanted 900 portions of a thing, and we don't do 900 portions of a thing in a month.
Yeah. So did you have to, obviously, you had to source whatever and bring all the stuff with you were going to make?
Yeah.
So and the bag of vinegar from Venturi Schultz, which is great vinegar, and everybody should go buy it, but don't put it in your luggage because it blows up. And then it gets in other people's luggage, and they get very mad at you. So then you have to run away. That's all you can do.
Despite how lovely the vinegar is, people don't want it on their clothes.
Yeah, very sticky. Yeah, and smells. You ruin a lot of people's vacations. Not great. Yeah.
Well, your clothes will be disinfected at least, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's that.
So you went there and you had to make 900 portions of, what did you guys make for the people there?
We did
rice.
We did a risotto using the balsamic vinegar from Venturi Schultz. We didn't want...
Basically, we wanted to choose our favorite products on the island, and 2 of our favorite suppliers are Natural Pastures Cheese out of Comox and Venturi Schultz for both wine and their balsamic vinegar. They do crazy awesome stuff. So what we did, we made a risotto, a little bit of aged rice. So we bring in some aged rice from Aquarello. So we cooked that. We made a broth out of nothing but the aged farmhouse cheese from Comox. So just water and cheese, basically, overnight. And then we cooked the risotto inside of that. Then we made a sauce similar to your Cheese Whiz and put that on top of it. And then a little cracker made out of the same cheese. So the cheese is in there 3 times. And then we just top it with a little bit of that balsamic. And then it's kind of like a 2-bite thing for people to walk around at the nice cocktail party.
And what was the reception on that when people had it?
People hated it. They were very mad at us. No, I'm just kidding. It was good. It was good.
Well, I mean, last year when you look at Brewery and the Beast, they invited Mike and I to go into this thing, and we went, and we're in the little VIP area. And then we see you guys, because you were I think the closest booth to the VIP area, and you guys just cranking away making stuff, And we're like, what the hell are they doing?
We were making pasta.
As you
That's
do
what
at the
you
barbecue
do.
event.
Yeah. And you guys are making like, it was ravioli, right?
Yeah.
And you're making the pasta like, in the booth on the spot right there.
I don't remember what kind it was, but I think it was some kind of duck thing.
It was a duck thing.
Yeah, there was a bunch of duck going on there. Yeah.
But it blew my mind. I looked over, I'm like, that would make sense that it's you guys doing it, because who else is going to be that crazy to be doing that at an event like that? And I loved it.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go, you might as well go.
I agree 100%.
I mean, to be clear, at the en route event, there was no kitchen.
Oh.
So that was just I could send you a picture. It's very good. I took their induction burner that they gave me, and there was no plug-in. So I went and put it by the elevator. And this is a large office building in Toronto. And I moved my table between the two elevators and plugged my induction burners in and made everything there while all the office people had to go around me. Because you're supposed to just bring something like ready and cold, but like we didn't want to do that.
So you guys made it work.
We go and we cook at an event.
Well, we knew there'd be electricity somewhere.
And there you are by the elevator.
It was a little tense, but not that tense, because at the end of the day, we figured we would just like eat everybody else's food if we didn't have any, and we would just forfeit and say, well, 10th is fine. I mean, what's the difference?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
But
and we would just have a good time. But it worked out, and we did actually feed people. But
so people must have been happy then. You guys had something warm.
Yeah, I think so. No, it went good.
Really
good.
Well.
Yeah.
And so do you guys find out there that you get 5th place, or when does that all work?
Yeah, it's all about the drama. They call you up to a stage, and then they flash each restaurant on the screen, and then you stand there and you clap for everybody and yourself and get excited.
That's awesome.
And then you go home to bed.
Yeah.
So just the next day, then you just jet out. Well, I guess you guys must have drove, or no? You
No.
didn't drive
So
there.
we flew to New York City at 4 a.m. So the event ended at 1, and then we went to the airport and flew to New York City.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then did you guys just make like a staff trip out of it?
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that in the past, you guys have done that as sort of a group, like the staff of Hanks.
We try to each year go on a vacation, with everybody.
And how many of those then have you done?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's purely just to go to somewhere and like
4.
experience food that like you would never get here in Victoria?
A little bit. I mean, it is about dining out. It is about eating. Sometimes we'll be looking for a little bit of a theme, and that can be based off of what a particular city might be known for. But also, just to help showing with different dining experiences to inspire people, or because if you're cooking food all the time, you don't always get to eat it in the same context. And so just to share.
Well, especially with people in the kitchen. I mean, showing different dining experiences. Because we don't have servers really. I mean, Dev's the experienced guy. Keith has been doing it now for a year, maybe.
Couple
maybe
years,
not
I'd
even.
say.
I don't think so. How long has Noah been here?
2 years.
2 years, maybe. Yeah. So we don't have like a serving team per se. So I mean, that lets them see the other side of things as well. And I mean, we stack restaurants, and I mean, I think we did 30 restaurants in a couple days in New York.
What?
Basically in 3 days.
Yeah, we were.
So I mean, you get to experience everything, but you will almost die as well. But yeah,
I did dine around here like it was last year in January, and they had us. I think the dine around menus where you get like 3 full courses. Yeah, I did 6 of those in 3 days.
Yeah,
like 6 full dinners, and it was like that was enough. So I can't imagine doing what you guys did. Did you have like an itinerary? Like,
of course, yes, absolutely. It's time sensitive.
100%.
No, but I mean, joking aside, I mean, everything's reservations, right? And then you run the gamut of anything from like your corner pizza shop to your Michelin 3-star restaurant, and so whether it's a slice of pizza or a 20-course tasting menu, but we try to do about 10 a day.
That's crazy. Do you guys have a meal like in your lifetime that sort of stands out above all others?
No.
I have favorites in particular,
like a top 3,
but nothing. It's fluid. Nothing
changes.
Sticks.
Yeah.
Like it. So like,
what's the top 3? Now I put you on the spot.
Well,
McDonald's, A&W, Burger King.
There have been meals that stand out, but then I keep going out to dinner, and things keep changing and evolving. There was pizza at a natural wine bar in New York City, and we were just there in the mid-afternoon, and this little pizza shop, and it was just one of the most amazing pieces of pizza I've had. But just sort of given the whole context and the space and the thing, I try to take in everything, like it's and not to be overly judgmental. I'm just really particular.
So I mean, when you do look at sort of these memorable experiences,
I got a question. Okay, what about California? So that's got to be in the top 3 in San Francisco.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then that guy in Turkey who's just grilling that shit in that smoky room.
In the
kind of like
smoky room.
Hank's, actually.
Totally.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Those are the 2 I remember. So
okay,
11 Madison Park the first time, not the second time. Though.
Right.
So that lost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when you look at those memorable experiences, because I have 3, and I would say that meal I had at Nowhere recently, that's in my top 3 of all time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
My other 2, one was in Seattle and one was in Japan. But it's almost like the food has to be amazing for me, but it's also something about the whole experience.
Yeah.
Kind of like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's like there's something memorable and special about it, because like the food we had here was insane, and it was like the first meal I'd had out in 3 months.
Yeah.
So I think that probably added to it.
Circumstance. Yeah.
But it how much of it do you think is sort of the food itself, but then how much of it is sort of that other portion as well?
I think it's different for everybody. I mean, me and Devon are going to give very different answers here. You go ahead.
No, and I mean it. That's gonna vary. I'm gonna pay attention to things that Clark isn't going to, and sort of vice versa. And I can't, like, it's not always like a sort of a top 10 list of criteria that I have in my head that I sort of have to run and break down. It's
for me, it's food and booze. I don't really care where you sit me. I can make my own fun in my head. We'll go a little crazy, just give me some good food and booze, and away I go.
Food is going to be important. I mean, that's what we're there for. And so,
and company, who you're with. I mean, who you're with to me is very important as well.
Of course.
But the actual atmosphere of the restaurant, I know it's crazy important. Of course, we've been doing this for 10 years or whatever. And it's one of the most important things. And we've spent so much time talking about it and trying to adjust it and make people happy and everything from music levels throughout the night and everything. But for me personally, food, drinks, people.
And the cocktail program at the restaurants here, or I guess at Nowhere right now, who's in charge of doing that?
Collaboration.
Okay.
So that changes all the time. I mean, when we reopened before COVID, Keith was doing a lot of stuff. I was kind of helping him with that. After we came back, Rylan actually took over the whole program. So the chef at Hank's, he spent a ton of time while we were off and researched and came back with crazy awesome cocktails and learned a lot of stuff. Infused a bunch of things and just really cool shit. So he did that, but then as he got a little busier with Hank's, he's pulled back a little bit more. So it's more of a collaboration now, but he's still looking at stuff and he's going to jump back into it too. So it always changes basically.
What's the total amount of people working between the 2 restaurants? How many people do you guys have on staff?
86.
It's a good solid answer. Very quick.
No, what do we have? 6 people?
4.
Not even 6. There you go. 4
That's
people.
it.
I should know that probably. Oh, 6 with us.
Well, there's 6 with us.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
I'm
like, there's 6 people here. I'm sure there is. There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's again, this blows my mind, especially that you guys have 2 restaurants and you're doing it with like 6 people, but also the level of what you guys are doing with just 6 people.
But that's the thing. So we went with less people so we can have a very tight team and people who work well together, and it doesn't change. I mean, we've had these people with us forever, everybody, and that's on purpose and by design, and we try to treat them well and they treat us awesome. But that's what the 4 days open does. Cause like you just missed Rylan when you were here. I mean, he's been here working all day, and he'll be back tomorrow, and Laura will be in all day tomorrow. And, everybody's always working. Keith said a wine tasting the other day, so everybody kind of works almost every day on their own time. Like we nothing we're setting forth, but it's what they want to do. So that's why we only do 4 days, so we can keep that team and people can kind of come in and out and do things as they want to do them, but keep them super tight and still not exhausted, but engaged, as much as possible.
And that must be sort of like liberating for everyone, just to sort of have that freedom.
I hope so, but I don't
all
know.
Across the board.
It has been working well so far. So
I mean,
we'll keep it going.
They must be super dedicated. I mean, they have to be as dedicated almost like as you guys are.
Our staff is amazing. Like, I mean, and that's not just saying that. I mean, because there's 4 people. If it wasn't for them every day, you'd have nothing on your table. I mean, literally nothing. Yeah, I mean, I have crazy, stupid ideas and throw things at them and spur of the moment. We change things, hell, at nowhere during the tasting menus. I'll change them during the night. Like,
really?
As they're going, yeah. So you got to be very fluid and very open.
Hence your bar fight analogy from a while back, where things can change at a moment's notice.
Well,
I mean, I'll just come up and whisper behind them and be like, okay, we're going to change. I didn't like that. And it's ridiculous, but so no, we have amazing people, and they've stuck with us through a lot of stuff, and now through this too. So,
I mean, it's amazing that like when we were here for that meal and we all had our courses, because is it strictly the tasting menu right now?
Yes,
it is, right?
That's all we're offering.
And it varies between 7 to 10 courses?
So far, it's only been 10, but that's what we're saying in case I screw something up during the day.
Okay.
You never know. Then I'll make something else bigger, and then it'll be fine.
We were eating there, and then we finished, and then you walked by the table, and you're like, "You guys still hungry?" And,
well, I don't want you to leave hungry. That would be upsetting. There's nothing worse than going to a tasting menu and leaving hungry. That would be very
agree,
upsetting.
100%.
And people do that, and that's horrible. I don't like that at all. So,
and then you did sort of a mic drop when you walked past the table again, and you had the Wagyu ribs.
Yeah, you ate my dinner.
I know, and then you're like,
"That's very mean of you." I mean,
this was my dinner, but here. And then you're like mic dropping, you walked away, and like our collective heads blew out of our heads.
Well, you came at a very good time. So we had that Wagyu cow. So it's from Subtilia in Princeton, BC. So it's 100% full-blooded Wagyu, which is super rare in Canada. And they take 3 years to age. So these are not young cows. Crazy special. We have to bring them in whole. So you had come in on the day, we'd had it hanging for about a month, and then it had just shown up, and we butchered it down, and we just threw in a rack of ribs just to give them a try. So you guys were hungry, so you had to have more food.
Yeah,
Although you didn't really say you were hungry, I guess you guys were full, but
no, but you racked
I
ribs
felt like
for
you
me.
should try. I felt like you should try some Wagyu beef ribs because they're pretty special, and they're never going to be on the menu because when you're bringing in a whole animal, you don't have enough ribs to put something like that on the menu. So that's kind of a one-off try.
No, thank you very much. But that literally, like, ribs are done for me now. I can't compete with that. Is there?
I feel like that's like a challenge now. Like we have to do something better.
Right. Yes.
Is there anything that stands out as like the craziest thing you guys have ever done?
Cow udder.
Really?
Yeah, it was horrible. Didn't work well. We turned it into bacon.
Yeah, not a good ingredient.
No, shouldn't cook with it, but we tried.
See, like the weirdest thing I've ever had is lungs. But I don't know.
They can be good though. Like a little bit of haggis, like worked into there. You get enough like oatmeal in it. It's good.
It might have been the way it was cooked because like Mo said that it wasn't, even he agreed. He's like, this is not the way it really should have been done. But he had butchered a lamb.
Yeah.
And so he was letting me try all the different pieces of the lamb. And he gave me this one thing. And he's like, he didn't want to tell me what it was. He's like, here, you have this. And it turned out to be the testicles.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, that was the best tasting part out of
everything you tried.
Everything, yeah. Which was mind blowing. But yeah, it's amazing what people can do. Like if you guys know what you're doing, the things that you can do with different things. Like if you give me like vegetables, like the tops, I just get rid of. And then people are like, why aren't you boiling that and using it for a stock or something? You know what I mean? Like it's
tough at home though. I mean, it's super tough at home. I mean, there's only so much time and you got to eat and then you got to go back to work and everything else. We get to do it all day. So it's a lot easier here.
But do you want to do it at home though? Like after spending all the time here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we do. I mean, but I don't think everyone should.
with things and stuff. But it's also why we're just open for dinner so that we can do the day with all of those.
No, we're open for lunch now, remember?
Right. Thanks.
Things have went bad. We're open for lunch.
Things have went bad.
the lunches. Yes, exactly.
We're open for lunch, people. Come for lunch, please.
You could order lunch right now. You're going to have to eat lunch sometime.
I love Talk.
Talk's been good for us, for sure. We've been on Talk for a couple of years.
I love it. The way that it's structured, where you just choose your guests, choose the time, do everything right there. It's very easy.
Yeah, I'm glad it's catching on here in Canada. It wasn't when we started with it. There was only, I think, one other restaurant in the country on it. So it was a bit of an uphill battle for a bit. But now with COVID, they really flipped over to a takeout experience. And now everyone's jumping on it, which is super cool for us because the more people on it, the more people know it. And because it was a bit of an uphill battle for a bit for us with that. Yeah,
you were the first ones I saw on it, for sure.
Somebody else was, though. I can't remember who, but there was somebody. We'd seen it in the States a lot, and
that's where we started using it, and we liked the use experience. So when we had the opportunity to choose a reservation system, that sort of helped our decision by going with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, total just sidetrack here, or different. My brain goes all over the place.
Yeah.
Sure.
So your kid. How old is your kid?
Oh, what if I get it wrong? You shouldn't ask that on the record. 14 months, 14 or 15 months.
Okay.
So like a year.
So that's another thing. Like, I don't know how you have the time with like a newborn and to be doing all the stuff that you do. How do you manage your time?
Laura, Rylan, Devon, Keith, and Katie. So that's everyone who works here. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. That's the bottom line. You don't. But everybody pitches in and everything gets done.
Okay.
I mean, there's some days where you honestly don't. You just have to like leave and maybe deal with something or whatever else. But the rest of the team just does it. That's how it gets done.
And so on your free time, with whatever that looks like, what do you guys do with your free time?
Well, children things.
I can
play
imagine.
with kids' toys and things like that.
I can imagine.
Dice up food very small for an infant to eat. No, honestly, I mean, pre-COVID, we actually just kept doing food. Basically, I would say food and wine. Just always learning and experimenting. It sounds stupid, but it's actually true. So we would just get together on weekends and we would cook the crazier stuff at home until we could get it down that we could cook it here, basically. But that's probably 90% of what we did. Markets, going out to vineyards, travel, that kind of stuff. I mean, we're not the most diverse guys, I don't think.
But that's pure dedication if you're able to do that on your free time.
It's just what we like to do.
It's what we like to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Our diversity is lacking in that sense. But yeah, it is what we like to do. Now, I mean, we probably do that one of the 3 nights off a week now, but the other nights are family time, So, yeah.
And if you guys are going to go out to eat somewhere, where do you guys like to go if you're going to go somewhere?
Before everything went to hell?
Well, or right now. Yeah, sure. Like before and pre and post.
I'm the wrong person because, like, with the kid for the past year, I haven't got out as much as I would have before. We used to get out like crazy. But so you name your places.
It depends what kind of mood I'm in. Whether I just want to go for a pint and a burger, or if I want to sit down and spend some time and eat a meal. I'm again being particular, and sometimes I'll have a craving for a thing, and I'll get up to the door and be like, "Oh, I can't go in there right now," and just keep walking.
You'd be the weirdest customer, just running away, kind of like the Grand Budapest Hotel, just full sprint. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. The Hive's awesome. I know you talked about Jason, but
yeah, shout out to Jason.
It actually is though. It's really, really good.
What's your favorite thing he does there?
So it's gonna. I change each time, but the bison's awesome. The cornflake chicken's awesome. Chicken fingers awesome. Actually, the farro salad's really good. It's got a sweetness to it. It's really good.
I don't know if I've had that.
Yeah, nobody orders it, I don't think, but everybody should. It's very good.
See, I love the sweet and
very
sour.
Good and very good value. Everybody should get that. But also Deadbeats on that side of things is super cool. They make really, really good stuff. I'm gonna forget people though because
I can't think of things on the spot.
Agrius. If you haven't had pizza from Agrius right now,
Yeah, I still haven't done that.
yeah,
I need
you
to.
really need to. It's fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it is crazy, crazy good pizza. I mean, everything they do is always super cool and good. But yeah.
Have you guys been to Harvest Road?
No.
Yeah, so they're out at Mitchell's farm, and
Okay.
it's Jenny's one of the daughters of the Mitchell family.
Okay.
But like their burger, for me, it's my personal favorite burger on the island that I've
Okay.
had,
Sweet.
because they source everything from like off the farm. So the only things they don't have in that burger are tomatoes. That like everything else comes from on the farm,
From
including
right there.
yeah, including the beef.
Sweet.
And I don't know if they're able to, if they switch back now, but everything was staying on the farm. So like anything that came out of the window could be composted on site.
Okay.
So it's like a whole sustainable
That's crazy.
ecosystem.
That's awesome.
I wish more places were like them and they weren't like an extreme outlier,
Yeah.
but they crush it. Yeah.
No, that's super cool. Yeah, we'll definitely go there.
Yeah. I would say go there and maybe go to Island View Beach. Like go get the food and check it out. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Well, Brasserie Le Cole, of course, is everybody.
I still have never been
favorite.
there.
What? What are you talking about? Why haven't you not been there?
I don't know.
Go.
Like I haven't been to like Cafe Brio. I haven't been Brasserie. I haven't been like a bunch of places.
You really need to go to Brasserie. I mean, yeah. I mean, everything about it's going to be awesome. The whole experience. They pay attention to everything. It's really cool. Courtney Room's got their tasting menu back now, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Olo's back open. They got the farm going, so that's going to be awesome.
I know. I want to go talk to Brad and see what they're doing because I was excited when I saw they open back up.
Yeah.
For a little bit, they had like paper in the windows, and I wasn't sure what was going on.
Well, I have to renovate a little bit with everything because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is right now.
Yeah.
But there's so many good places of all levels of, cost and everything else. So there's tons of good places. You go to Hey Happy every day, I think.
I do.
Yeah. And I go to Hide and Seek, so yeah, you get coffee. And they got Fairfield Branch now, I guess, too. So there's so many things, man.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah.
And it's sort of to me it's like hidden gems don't really exist anymore because of like Google, if that makes sense. But they do, but they don't.
Well, yeah, I think they do. I mean, I think in a certain community, everybody knows who they are now because of that. But I think 90% of the city still doesn't know about a lot of things that are happening. I mean, we didn't know about the Mitchells one you were just talking about,
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot. I think, and I mean, maybe amongst our internal community or whatever, we're all going to know what it is. But I think once you talk to just your average person, I don't think they have any idea still.
I think that's
so. I think there's a lot of work to be done still to get things out there. I mean, even with Hanks, I know tons of people who don't know Hanks when you talk to them. And I mean, it's been there for 8 years and it's busy, but still, there's tons of people who don't know. So
Yeah, no, I can actually. What you're saying is very true because like I'm probably hyper at the top level of sort of knowing about everything.
what's happening? Yeah.
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 And then so I do forget the fact that the average person is not on Instagram, not like every restaurant that opens basically now here like follows me on there.
Yeah.
So I see them come up like
Right away as it comes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is a good reminder. So do you have a favorite coffee shop then? Yours is Hey Happy?
I spend a lot of time at Hey Happy. Yeah.
I like Hide and Seek.
Okay.
We fight about it a lot.
Go back and forth who's better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there ever agreement or
No.
but it doesn't.
I mean, they're both awesome. It's
yeah,
not really.
ultimately it doesn't
I mean,
matter.
it's subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm right. Actually, I would never win the battle. Like he's way more hard headed, I think. So.
Particular.
Right. We keep saying particular. Yeah.
So is there a secret menu item of any kind?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like
Here?
does that mean anything at like Nowhere or Hanks?
No. I mean, I don't know. No.
No, I mean it's pretty much open book. Like
It changes too much.
It changes too much, but then we do like to share everything with everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, even the thing like with whole animals and stuff, like you can't. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons why it changes so much. And seasonality. I mean, the weather's been crappy, so now there's no tomatoes for a few weeks, and the peas are done this week, and so there's no way to have a secret menu because we don't even have accounts with like Cisco and GFS and stuff, right? At all. So, I mean, there's no way to do that really.
Yeah.
So it's all got to change all the time based on what's happening.
I guess it would be like you'd have to have something like the Cheese Whiz would be like a secret thing. But you guys just make that readily available.
Yeah, you can just have it. Yeah, that's fine. We don't really have any secrets, man. Yeah.
And moving forward, do you have things on the horizon or things you want to be doing that are going to be coming in the future?
I mean, I think we would have said yes at one point, but probably not now. I mean, the farm's something that's being worked on, but I mean, we got to see what happens here over the next probably year to 2 years, I think.
Ingredient wise, we're experimenting with charcuterie a little bit, but
That's true. Yeah, we got the charcuterie program really going. Cheese, started making a lot of cheese. Not great at it yet, so we have to keep going. But
it's witchcraft.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. But we're trying a lot of the old methods, which are proving to be very difficult. So like long cultures on even simple things like mozzarella, like 4 or 5 day cultures to get more flavors into them and stuff. So when we get it down, I think it'll be super cool. But right now, it's not working. Not in a way that's good enough, but I mean we're doing stuff like that. As far as other restaurants and stuff, though, I don't know. I mean, probably not with the kid and COVID and everything else. This is probably what we're doing.
And
if anything, we would shut these ones down and get me one with a wood-fired grill, please, Devon. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That's what I would like.
I know.
Just one restaurant with a wood-fired, 10 seats, very few.
Mhm.
And how have you found COVID? Has it been like a huge challenge?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a disaster. I mean, anybody who says it's not is probably lying.
It almost seems.
Yeah, they're just waiting for it to be over or go away. But you've got to be able to move and adapt and change. And I mean, even it's really nice that people feel comfortable in this space, but at the same time, we're like, what do we have to do next to keep it going?
Well, and I mean, and you're responsible, right? I mean, like, for everybody's safety. So not even just the business wise and everything else, but like so many conversations about safety, because I mean, we just want to be so careful. You don't want to be the place that does anything wrong.
No, of course.
So,
you don't want to be the place where everything jumps off.
Yeah. I mean, and as cases start ticking up and it comes back out here and stuff, I mean, it's fucking terrifying as far as any of that goes. Not even just personal safety, but also just that and keeping all your guests safe. And I mean, from a business perspective, I honestly, Nowhere's actually done pretty well, which we're very happy with. So we're not in very rough shape there. Hanks is, we went, we're taking it on the chin there a little bit for a while, and we're probably getting it for the next year or two. There's no way to open that restaurant really. So
yeah, it's so small.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to keep social distancing. That's what I was saying. If anything, we bring that feast series back and do 1 or 2 tables at a time kind of thing, But that would just be more probably, honestly, for fun. And, keep Rylan excited too, so he's not just making sandwiches all the time. But
yeah, that would just sort of mix things up a bit.
That wouldn't really be a profit situation because the feasts are insane as well. So
that pork belly sandwich that you guys have, do you guys have that on right now?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay, because that thing blew my mind a bit. I'm a fan of pork belly.
That's your milk-fed pork too. It seems you like that milk-fed pork a lot.
Something about it.
Yeah. You like very fancy pork.
I guess so. It was killer. I loved it. And you guys had like the Wagyu meatballs at one point.
Yeah, that's gone now.
Yeah,
that cow was a little bit ago, but yeah, that's gone now. But yeah, we were doing that for sure. We got a cow in from Hillcrest, so up in Comox, the guys we were talking about before. We got one from them last week, so that's going to dominate the menu here for the next little while. The pastrami is something we're really proud of. That's what we want to try to feature and get really taking off and going. We think it's awesome. We think we do a really good job of it. Not to be cocky, but we actually really do.
Yeah,
and we would like that to go.
Now we're getting the full pressure washer experience here.
Yeah. He should probably clean behind the door at Hank's where everything's bad,
I know.
Instead of right here. Like, he's cleaning the middle of the courtyard. That seems useless.
He'll get there.
Should go tell him.
He'll get there.
How often you guys like change out the whole menu? Do you ever have like just a fresh wipe, or do you just sort of like over time, 1 item here, 3 items there?
Yeah, it's an overtime situation. So basically, I sit down every weekend, and what we'll do is basically I list what I want to keep for sure, what I want to kill for sure, and then maybe. From there, then I go to call the farmers and see what we're able to get. And then that kills off more of the maybe dishes, and hopefully not one of the ones you want to keep, but often it does. It is this week.
What was this week? What's gone?
Peas. Yeah, the peas.
Okay.
The peas aren't great this week. I mean, they're still peas, but they're just not. We're keeping them in a very simple dish with and they were so sweet and awesome, and they're not now apparently. So, but the farmers are super honest with us too, and things like that, which is really cool. So we can count on them.
Yeah,
it's kind of like being in the shower here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So much water. So yeah, I mean, but as far as changing, so it probably does change from top to bottom, especially at Nowhere, more often than I would like it to because of that process. But we don't ever plan to change it from top to bottom necessarily. And then Hank's is almost going to change from top to bottom in the next week as well. But again, just for the same reasons, because as one animal comes in and one goes out, things like that. So,
do you have things, because this interview is going to go up next Tuesday,
right?
Do you have anything like you expect that next Tuesday or next week you would have at Hank's?
No, that's too far away from me.
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing next week. I'm still working on tomorrow.
I'm working on 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, exactly. So no, we don't have anything. This pressure washing is awesome though.
I kind of, you know what?
No one's going to be listening at this point.
Well, I kind of feel it's like somehow fitting that, like, again, the bar fight thing.
Yeah,
like,
sure. Yeah,
who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So I would be really upset, but I mean, I'm still not happy that that's going on, the noise, but it's almost fitting in a way.
Yeah, it kind of fits what we do.
It does seem to make sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. But
just trying to think if is there anything that you guys want to mention that we haven't touched on?
Devon, do you have a promotional speech worked out?
I did not get that far.
Oh.
Yes, I did wake up earlier than normal today, but
What does that mean?
Much of a speechwriter.
What does that mean, earlier than normal?
I'm not a morning person.
He's not going to tell you.
I'm just not a morning person. Like I can get up and be functional for 10 o'clock. That isn't an issue. But
So what's a bedtime for you? What time?
Hold on,
I
this
go
is
to
funny though,
bed
because
at,
you
like,
worked
2.
in the morning for years.
I know. I was never a morning person.
You just weren't very friendly.
Certainly not. Didn't want to talk to me before 11.
I get up at 5 a.m. That's when the child punches you in the face.
Oh, yeah.
And that means it's time to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah. See, I've been lately with like the podcast and spending so much time and all that. I have been staying up later, but I am a morning person.
Right.
So like if I went to bed at 10 and got up at 6, like that's the ideal thing for my body. And I've been like, I guess for you getting up in the morning, that kind of thing where you're like going against what you naturally.
That's 8 hours sleep, though. That's way too much.
Oh yeah, no,
You
8
shouldn't
hours.
be getting more than 3 to 4.
I need 8.
Anything over 3 to 4 and you're just wasting time.
So are you at 3 to 4?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So
I'll
that's how
be
you-
dead soon.
That's how you have time. That's how you have time to source everything.
Yeah.
You just forget about the
3
sleep.
to 4, that's fine. That's good. That's plenty.
And how much are you getting?
I'm doing better. 7.
Okay.
So spoiled.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
Since when do you get 7 hours?
I'm a princess. I
That's
like my
crazy.
sleep.
Oh my God.
When we were at dinner last night, it was actually interesting that out of 6 of
Yeah,
us,
you were at Emondare last night, right?
we were at Emondare for a.
You should tell people about that. That looked awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool. We showed up. This, as far as I know, it was not broadcast to the public. I don't know right now exactly how people got notified, but I think it was people on the Emondare. It might maybe a wine club or some kind of list. And Farmsgate, which is a food truck that sometimes is at the Esquimalt Market, but they're more focused up in Cowichan. Them, along with the Ainsley, Ian at the Ainsley, they combined forces, and then there was Emondare Wines and Averill Creek. And so the 4 of them all came together, and we had this dinner outside at Emondare at the vineyard. And it was the coolest thing ever. They came at it from a very different perspective of the fact that they left what you were going to pay up to you.
Right.
So it's like, what do you think this is worth? You pay that amount, which I think is very...
I don't have the guts to do that.
I know, it's very gutsy given the state that we're in right now.
People would probably be awesome, though. I mean, yeah.
It was a wild experience. Like being able to eat outside
Right in
like
the
that.
vines, yeah.
Yeah. Like I sent my buddy a picture afterwards, and I'm like, this is what I had for dinner tonight, or where I ate. And I'm like, how lucky are we right now in the world that we could do something like that?
It looked super cool. It looked super
It kind of
cool.
blew my mind. And the stuff they were doing, I think that, like, had you been there, I think you would have really appreciated the different dishes that they had.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it looked awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have loved to be there. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
I'd
hopeful.
love to cook at a vineyard again, too. We haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of miss that. That is fun. Even just to be out there is fun.
How do we make that happen? I'm going to
I
start
don't
telling
know.
everybody.
I hadn't thought about it.
Everybody reach out to Clark and get a pop-up going, or a farm.
I'm not overly receptive to things usually, so we'll see. We'll see. But
So
we did it at Sonata just for fun, and it was awesome. Yeah, I did it a couple times.
Where was that?
In the Cowichan at Sonata.
Okay.
Sonata Vineyards. They were the first vineyard on the island. But we literally did it just for fun. So like it was like staff and friends and things like that, and we just took over their kitchen and did it a couple times. But yeah, there was no tickets or social media or anything. It was just, we just do these things more for fun for ourselves kind of deal. So when you ask if we do it on our time off, that's what we do on our time off, is things like that.
But again, that's 100% the dedication, and that's
it's also very spoiled. I mean, that's pretty awesome to sit in a vineyard and drink wine and make
it's
food.
ridiculous.
I mean, what more? Yeah, I mean, that's great. So dedication, sure, but I mean, also pretty awesome.
How did the collaboration come up with Mai Tai Cafe? Because that's the only thing I can think of you guys teaming up with someone else.
I went there for lunch, and they're very nice and awesome, and I love the food. And yeah, she had mentioned that she knows Rylan and Laura. She'd worked with them both in the past, who work with us. And I said, well, why don't we just do one then? So yeah, we did it.
And have you tried her duck poutine?
No, I haven't.
The red Thai
I've had
curry
their
duck
duck,
poutine.
but I haven't had their poutine.
Oh, you have to have that. There's so much flavor.
Wow.
It's like she did it for Canada Day, and she was getting a whole bunch of people. That was their third year anniversary this year.
Okay.
On Canada Day. And she got a bunch of us. She was just reaching out to people, I think, and saying, like, to celebrate their birthday at the restaurant, they were just giving away this duck poutine to a bunch of people.
Right.
And
Sounds amazing.
I've had
Nobody
it
gives
twice.
us anything, Devon.
No.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's super awesome. Not that dish, but that restaurant in particular. Everybody should go there.
Yes, I agree 100%.
It's crazy awesome and crazy fun. So that's another place we go to, actually.
There we go.
That's what I'm thinking. So like, what other places are sort of that you are doing that might be in the back of the memory?
I don't know. This is so hard now. They come up as you bring things up. The Cozy Place.
The Cozy Place?
Yes. Have you been to the Cozy Place?
I've never heard of this.
Oh my God. That might be my favorite restaurant. It's on Douglas across from the Hudson. Szechuan style food. So they have like a Canadianized or Americanized Chinese menu, which is good, but whatever. I mean, just skip that part. But yeah, like their cold beef shin dish is freaking amazing. And then they do a dish with raw peanuts and chicken that is just fucking killer.
Really?
But yeah, most things they do are awesome. They do like a breaded fish hot pot where they bring like this thing to your table, this propane burner to your table and turn it on and cook it, but they don't let you turn it down. so
it's just going?
Yeah, but it's just so fucking hot. It's just like boiling and you're trying to get shit out and it's reducing and you're trying to eat it fast enough and you turn it down and they come back, they're like, no, and they turn it up again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
I've
so
never
much
heard of
fun. It's crazy fun and crazy good. Yeah, people should definitely go there.
Have you been to Hong Kong West?
Yeah.
So what do you think about there?
It's good. When we were there, it was so freaking spicy that the baby has started bawling because just from the aroma. Not our baby, somebody else's. The aroma had to be taken out of the room. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I don't do well with spice.
Okay.
Like the next day,
they must have been nice to you then, because they can do spice.
Oh no! Yeah. Like I think that they were going. Like I told the people I was with, please, I can't. Like I don't want to hurt myself.
We should train you. We should get you up. We should get your level up. It'll come. It just takes time.
I need that training. So we did that and we had it, and afterwards I still paid for it, even though I could tell they took it easy. But like the fish hot pot,
yeah,
they made that thing allegedly like for them mild,
yeah,
and like it's like you need
so
to.
We went a different direction. We told them that like just whatever heat, like as hot as they wanted to do, that's cool. So we went that way instead. We did pay for that too. Yeah, yeah, we also paid for it. Yeah.
So could you, with that heat level, like do you normally do spicy food?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fine.
I don't.
Can you?
I have a hard time.
Can you discern?
You eat it though.
I do, but I still have a hard time.
Yeah.
Can you discern the flavor, or just like do you just get hit with the heat, or can you actually like appreciate the flavors and all that?
All these chilies have different flavors, right? That's why you got to work your way up on these things because they all have crazy different flavors. I mean, we have 27 types of chilies here right now. I mean, they're not just about heat. They're all nuanced and they all smell different and taste different and everything else. And yeah, if somebody just throws a shit ton of habanero in something, like you're going to lose the fruitiness and just get habanero, but that's not what those guys are doing. They got all kinds of flavors going on in there.
100%. One thing I've learned through the course of like doing this Food Guy stuff is to try and never change a menu item. Like there's a reason why this is here. It's at that level and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing I've learned. Never substitute or try and take anything out because there's a reason why everything's there.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an allergy or restriction or something, just let them know.
Well, that's different.
Let them know, right? But don't do it based on like I don't like this ingredient or that ingredient because I mean everyone's going to treat them different, and you might not even know that's the ingredient. So you should give it a try in that case. But if it's a like or a preference, it's probably a bad idea. You're going to miss out, because chances are most restaurants aren't just going to put on some raw shitty ingredient or something that you don't like at home. They're going to actually do something to it, and you might like it. So you're going to miss out, and you're probably going to ruin the dish. And if you have a reason you can't have it, tell them so they can do something else for you. Because most places will go out of their way to make people happy. I mean, we do all the time. But so you got to know.
If somebody wanted to come here and have like the tasting menu,
yeah,
but they don't eat fish or they don't eat pork, is that possible?
We would not like to advertise that, but yeah, we do that.
Oh, you do? Because actually that night we came, somebody didn't come because he doesn't do pork. Oh, now we're getting the window washer right here.
Wow.
I would say the only one we don't do. This is awesome. It's like a car wash.
I know. That's what I was thinking. We're in a car wash right now.
This is great. Yeah, the windows are going to be clean this week. Yeah, actually, it'll be worse. Yeah, like something like not eating pork. That's not an issue at all. Especially if we know. We don't necessarily do like vegan. Vegetarian we can make happen, things like that, but when you get to too restrictive for what we have on hand, because as you were mentioning before, we don't have a ton of space, so we don't necessarily keep a ton of extra things around that we can just whip up a menu. So it would depend on the notice, depending on how restrictive we're talking, basically. But if it's one or two things, I mean, that's usually not an issue as long as we know. Not when you sit down, like before.
Oh yeah,
especially for the tasting menu, because you can't create a dish like that.
You get the opportunity when you do the reservation to sort of put something. Yeah. What's the longest thing that you guys have aged as far as like either like beef goes or or whatever? Because you guys have had like 2-month-old dry aged burgers, right?
Aged or eaten?
Aged. Well, both.
Well,
Let's go both.
We haven't aged anything that long because we just started aging with COVID, so probably 2 months.
Oh, okay. I thought you had done the burger like a year or two ago. That was like
we were,
aged.
but Two Rivers was doing our aging for us at that
I
point.
see.
So we just started doing our own aging when COVID shut us down the first time.
Okay.
So yeah.
So then,
Eaten? Almost 2 years.
Ooh. So what was that
even
like?
Pork, we had the 1 year pork at Camp Ignolo in Vancouver.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in New York we had some. Well, I mean, it just gets funkier and more compressed and more flavorful as time goes on, basically. But you do start bordering on flavors of cheese rather than meat. Like if you were blindfolded, you probably wouldn't pick meat at some point. You'd start picking cheese as what you're eating.
Because like if you look at that meat when it's been aged for a while, there actually is like a crust or something on the outside you have to get rid of, right?
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, it is just the crust, right? And it just gets deeper and deeper as it ages, but it gets so even like you can take your outside off, but you have to go a little bit deeper than that usually just because it's going to be too chewy or things like that, you know.
And so right now, how much stuff do you guys have aging? Do you have a lot of stuff?
A whole cow.
Oh, so
because it came last week, so there's a whole cow in there. And then we do ducks. We do we're only using Moulard ducks right now. So they're a lot bigger. They're your birds that have that do foie gras. So we don't necessarily have the foie gras, but we bring those ducks in because they're kind of oddly a byproduct of foie gras production. So we want to make use of them. And they're the best tasting birds you've ever had in your life. They're quite a bit bigger because they're actually a fair bit older.
Okay.
But you're getting into your 10-pound ducks and things like that. So we dry age duck only for 2 weeks at a time usually. So we do, just cycle every 2 weeks. But they're always up there too.
That's awesome. Guys, I've loved this so much.
Good. I hope we weren't too boring.
No, dude, we're almost at 80 minutes here.
Is that good or bad?
That's awesome.
The
time went by really quick.
We don't know if that's good or bad.
Time went by really quick.
What were we aiming for? What was the target?
I don't know. The shortest one so far, I think, has been 40. So we went twice that.
Okay.
What's the longest?
The longest is 2 hours.
Well, we failed then.
Well, no, you didn't. But the thing is, like, I don't really know you two at all. Yeah. And the two guys I did 2 hours with, like, I know both of them for a long time. Like, I went to Japan with Anton.
Oh, okay.
So I was with him for 2 weeks straight, basically.
Don't you remember the story about us wanting to win, though? I mean, we're very competitive.
We can keep going.
No.
I got time.
It's all good. But cool. No, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming on, man. Wanting to talk.
And thanks for supporting us, too.
Yeah. Of course.
You can come out for dinner, so.
I'm a fan of people doing good work. And I mean, in my opinion, you guys are doing incredible work.
Oh, thank you.
So everyone needs to come and experience what you're doing here at Nowhere. Like that to me, like after that visit, I went on Instagram and I made a couple stories where I don't normally do video, but I felt compelled to. It's really, to me, it's really, really important that people come and experience what's going on here because it's very special.
Thank you. We appreciate it very, very much.
That's awesome.
And so if people want to find out more of what you guys are doing, where should they go? What's the best place?
The Talk website, our reservation page, has information about what we're doing. We do have a website that doesn't have a ton of information on it right now, but we are addressing that and are starting to rebuild
taking
that.
More information off of it.
Well,
just so it's not lying to you.
Take it apart, build it back.
If it says
take
nothing,
it apart,
we're telling
build it
the
back
truth.
up. So we'll have some information there because we wanted to, I don't know, make it slightly more real, talk about the farms that we deal with, that kind of thing. But whatever, in the future.
Social media. That's probably the most up-to-date stuff.
Instagram and Facebook is
we are Insta-fabulous.
Of course.
The pulse of us at the moment.
Yeah, that's where we try to keep things as fast as we can, basically, as things are happening, especially right now.
Who's running the social media or the Instagram? Is it just you, or is there a bunch of people on it?
Everybody.
Everybody
can participate. Yeah.
Okay. We've tried Whoever can remember to do it.
We try to create a bit of a baseline, but then anybody can add into that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So at home, if you'd like to hack our Instagram account, feel free. Just have at it. Just make it fun, at least.
Just make it fun.
Yeah, I don't really care. Just make it a good time. At least make it funny. Don't do something boring like sell watches or something.
I've actually seen that happen.
Yeah, no, it's just boring. It's like, come on, do something entertaining at least.
So yeah, thank you very much for this, guys. It's been a blast. And if anybody's looking for what I'm doing, you can go to VicFoodGuys.ca and all the stuff's up there. And wherever I don't actually have an outro, so I don't know how to end these things.
Do you want to sing a song together? I'm just kidding. We're not doing that.
I wouldn't really want to sing a song.
But you should have music.
I know. I don't even have music on this.
You have a very professional setup.
You know what? I don't have music. I have like a
Do you want us to turn Sonos on? We could pick a song. We could play something.
I got like a
Play us
5-second
out.
intro, and like I have no ads, so it's just like we just get right into it and we go.
That's
So,
awesome.
No,
It's,
that-
it's
that
super
sounds
cool
great.
though, man.
Yeah,
and,
perfect.
and it was really fun. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. And if this is the first time I'm going to say this, if you made it this far through the pressure washing, through all this stuff, please give like a like or a subscribe or whatever on whatever platform you're consuming this on. That would be cool for me. So thank
Everybody
you, everyone.
do it. Get on it.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
brother. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Bye.